And I'm going to give you a little background on myself. My father was an amputee, lost his leg when he was 19 following World War II. Became a prosthetist as a result of that. He apprenticed under a fellow named Chauncey Fries, whose grandfather started the business in 1866. After apprenticing and working with Chauncey, he became a partner with Chauncey and eventually bought the company. And then I took over the company from my father and now have a son and son-in-law that are both in the field as well. Have developed our own Syracuse Socket System based on what I've learned over the years, what my father and Chauncey and those fellows have passed on to me. And what I'm going to show you is a result of how we make sockets, and we have quite good success with it. There's different systems out there, but we're going to concentrate on the transfemoral socket system. The patient standing in front of me, I do marks on the cast. I drop a line through the anterior after the cast. I mark the interior of the cast so that we can see when it's transferred where the anterior, lateral, and posterior areas of the socket are. And by definition, we get some of the medial side. On the outside, I drop. First thing I do is I have on my cast marked the anterior so I can look at it and see this is the anterior portion of my socket, because things roll away. You don't have a perfectly square anterior, medial, lateral, posterior. It's rounded and shaped off to the sides. Here's my anterior. I'm going to come up. The border of my anterior socket is actually right about here. This is the front of my socket. Hard to tell if you don't have the lines on what the real anterior is and the real medial is, but here's where the medial starts. So I know that I'm going to want to come probably around here someplace and then swing up with my medial wall, or my lateral wall, and I'm going to bring my lateral wall up here. If I go to my posterior, I now know that this is the border of my posterior socket here, and easy to get lost here, but I'm not going to get lost because I know that this is the medial side over here, and this is the lateral side over here. It's a relatively small area. That's the posterior aspect of my socket. My ischial tuberosity is right here. I'm going to want to scoop up a little bit so I'm pushing towards the ischial tuberosity. One of the things I learned from my father, transfemoral amputee who wore a quad socket before in his final years going into ischial containment, was that there's no such thing as true ischial tuberosity weight bearing. There's always soft tissue in between of varying amounts. How we're going to get just exactly how much to do is something we're going to have to work at as we move into the future.
Oops. I usually don't do that. Just kind of let it sit down onto the model. That controls the vacuum. Plastic down at the table, you just let the vacuum go.